Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to a brand new episode of Pressing Matters. This is episode number 30. 30 episodes already of Pressing Matters. This is terrific. I mean, this is amazing. I've since we started Pressing Matters, we've had Alex Winley on here. We had Franco Panizo on here. It's been great. I've really enjoyed here on the Plug Talk Sports Network, aside from our shows all together on Monday nights, to be able to get here on Thursday nights and to be able to do Pressing Matter for you guys and talk about, the game that I love, the world's game, the game of soccer, football. It's a fun time, and I really appreciate you guys, tuning in every single Thursday night and just watching these episodes and putting up with my rants, whether it's about Real Madrid or Barcelona, or Inter Miami too. I mean, to be honest, really appreciate you guys a whole lot for just all of the support and just reaching milestones as we go with Plug Talk Sports. So thank you guys for really supporting the whole platform, and I can't do it without you guys. I can't do it without my team. So God bless you guys. God bless them as well. I pray for them every single morning, for them, just helping me and, just this platform and to help it to continue to grow. And of course, I always thank God, the man above, for giving me the talents and the gifts that he has given me. And I get to wake up every day and just do what I love. So appreciate you guys a lot. But that said, again, episode number 30 of Pressing Matters, and we are going to start with the U.S. men's national team. Their squad has been announced for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. It was announced in New York City. I don't think there was any surprises. There was a leak, I believe, from The Athletic that showed who was going to the World Cup. And there's a couple things I want to talk about related to this, but let's go over the roster here. There's the wrong one. I don't want to look at that one. Let's see, U.S. men's national team World Cup roster. So we're gonna start with number 1, goalkeeper, Park Ridge, New Jersey, plays for the New England Revolution. We're talking about Matt Turner. Then we go number 2, defender, by way of the Netherlands, and he plays in the Netherlands, former FC Barcelona man. He plays for PSV Eindhoven. We're talking about Serginho Dest. Then, this one was a major one. We were very concerned about his health, possible injury, but he is okay. He is from Birmingham, Alabama. He just won the UEFA Conference League with Crystal Palace. We're talking about defender Chris Richards. Then we go into, of course, from New York, a New York native, beloved midfielder for the U.S. men's national team, plays for Bournemouth. We're talking about Tyler Adams. Then we go by way of England, Milton Keynes, which is home, a little Formula One history here. That's home to Red Bull Racing in England. He plays for Fulham. We're talking about Anthony Robinson. Then we go to a defender out of Pennsylvania, plays for Celtic in Scotland, just won the Scottish Premiership. We're talking about Austin Trusty. Then, of course, son of a former U.S. men's national team player, by way of England, from Bedford, New York, plays for Borussia Mönchengladbach. We're talking about Gio Reyna, the son of Claudio Reyna. Obviously, there was a little bit of behavior issues there in the 2022 World Cup, which he almost got thrown out of the squad and sent home. But he makes the squad here for 2026. He says he has passed that. So hopefully, he's a little bit more mature now in that aspect. We go to another midfielder out of Fort Lewis, Washington. His hometown is Little Elm, Texas. Plays for the Italian Giants, Juventus. We're talking about Weston McKennie. Then we go to another forward out of El Paso, Texas, also playing in the Netherlands for PSV Eindhoven. We're talking about Ricardo Pepi. Then, of course, we got to go for a forward here. The famous, probably going to be the best U.S. men's national team player when it's all said and done, out of Hershey, Pennsylvania, playing for AC Milan. We're talking about Christian Pulisic. Then we go to a guy that I saw play out of the Philadelphia Union Academy, currently playing with Leeds United right now, out of Medford, New Jersey. We're talking about Brendan Aronson. Then we go to a defender out of Arlington, Massachusetts. Plays for FC Cincinnati. We're talking about Miles Robinson. Then we go to really a veteran who might be wearing the captain's armband at this World Cup on home soil. Defender out of St. Louis, Missouri, playing for Charlotte FC. We saw him in 2022. A lot of players, or fans should I say, fell in love with him. We're talking about Tim Ream. This is going to be the last one for Tim Ream as well. So, former coach of the U.S. men's national team, his son was a fan out of the last World Cup in 2022 in Qatar, out of Columbus, Ohio, plays for the Vancouver Whitecaps. We saw him in the MLS Cup Finals against Inter Miami. We're talking about Sebastian Berhalter. Then, a man that I have seen as well in person play out of Pico Rivera, California, midfielder for the Seattle Sounders. We're talking about Christian Roldan. Then we go to a kid out of Baltimore, Maryland, defender, plays for Villarreal in Spain by way of Orlando City. He's from Plantation, Florida, right up the street from us here in South Florida. We're talking about Alex Freeman. Then, by way of Nuremberg, Germany, he is a midfielder, plays for Bayer Leverkusen. We're talking about midfielder Malik Tillman. Then, we go another defender out of Fresno, California, currently plays with the Columbus Crew in Major League Soccer, defender Max Arfston. Then a man who scored in Qatar for the U.S. men's national team, forward out of Los Angeles, California, plays for Coventry City. We're talking about forward Haji Wright. Oh, man, and I've seen this man play for Arsenal in the MLS All-Star game. He is now with AS Monaco. He is by way of London, England. We're talking about forward Folarin Balogun. Then we're talking about another legend whose dad played professionally out of Brooklyn, New York, playing for Olympique Marseille. We're talking about forward Timothy Weah. Then we're talking about a defender here, also from New York, playing for Toulouse. We're talking about defender Mark McKenzie. Another defender here out of Lake Grove, New York, another New Yorker, playing for Borussia Mönchengladbach. Defender Joe Scally. Here we got another goalkeeper out of Pennsylvania playing for NYCFC in MLS. Goalkeeper Matt Freese. Then we've got another goalkeeper out of Naperville, Illinois, playing for the Chicago Fire. Chris Brady, his first ever FIFA World Cup. And then the final player on this 26-man roster for Mauricio Pochettino's men, forward by way of Mexico. Hometown is El Paso, Texas. Playing for Club América in Liga MX. We're talking about forward Alejandro Sendejas. So that is your roster heading to the FIFA World Cup on home soil to represent the United States, obviously, game against Paraguay first, and then they've got Australia, and they've got Turkey in their group. Now, what do you think that I think about this roster? It's a mix. I like it. I think there's guys that we saw in 2022 in Qatar that now have experience of what it means to go to the FIFA World Cup. And then we've got a lot of new guys who are playing in their first ever FIFA World Cup. And I'm trying to think at the top of my head, is there any guys? I mean, Johnny Cardoso from Atletico Madrid. I think believe he got injured. He didn't obviously make the squad. Trying to think of maybe some other guys that didn't make it. Diego Luna, another player that maybe we thought had gotten a lot of hype that would make this roster, did not. And so there was a little bit of controversy of people just stirring up, crap, saying, oh, Mauricio Pochettino, he didn't call the players to tell them, the ones that didn't make it, he didn't call them to tell them they didn't make it. They didn't find out, listen, like, I don't know about you guys. And I tweeted this out the other day, or I believe yesterday. If I was a player and I was going to get rejected, do I care on knowing? Like, I just want to know if I made it. But if I didn't make it, listen, you got to keep your head down, and this goes for everything in life. You got to keep your head down, and you need to work hard. That's the bottom line. You got to work hard. So, I don't see the need to coddle these players that didn't make it, and just pat them on the back. Next World Cup, you got it. And no, man, just hey, you didn't make it. It is what it is. It sucks. It's tough news to see for your career and, wanting to represent your nation and play in the FIFA World Cup, especially on home soil, which is going to be so special. I don't believe in coddling the players just to reject them. So I think it's all BS and people just making up controversy. But what I will say that bothers me about Mauricio Pochettino is that there's already been news that during this whole World Cup process, he's been taking meetings and interviews for his next club. After this World Cup, he's gone from the U.S. men's national team, and he's moving on. And supposedly, a report came out today from The Athletic that he looks to be heading to AC Milan after this World Cup is over. And I'll tell you why I don't like it. I don't like it because it's a distraction. It gives me a sour, bad taste in my mouth. It reminds me of what happened to my other national team, Spain, of when Julian Lopetegui was going to lead Spain in 2018. And the day before their opening match, he takes the job at Real Madrid and it becomes Fernando Hierro, who coaches Spain. And honestly, he was like, hey, whatever you guys did with Lopetegui, just do that because I was just made coach and I have no idea, what you guys were practicing, working on. So it's just a distraction, right? And then that's why I don't like it. This is a very important World Cup for the U.S. men's national team. It's a chance to inspire kids, really, who don't see a pathway. I have to agree with President Gianni Infantino of FIFA. This is a chance for the U.S. men's national team to show kids who don't think they have a pathway in soccer to make it, and they rely on other American sports like basketball or baseball or American football. This is a chance for the U.S. to inspire, and I think that they need to have full focus on this World Cup. We can't be having this stuff of, oh, your coach is already leaving. And listen, Poch, for me, he took this. I've never been a big fan of Mauricio Pochettino. That's why when I saw him on the short list of names for Real Madrid, I was like, please, no, I don't want him. I don't want him. I don't think he is a big enough coach for Real Madrid, but I just think he took this U.S. men's national team head coach job because he just needed something. He didn't have anything at the moment, and it was the best opportunity to fill in, some time, and it was an opportunity, and so he took it. Do I hate him for that? No, but, I want someone who wants to be here and not as a time filler for your career. And he's got a big role here for the U.S. men's national team. And I'm not going to lie, I do think he's had some good runs of games, but there's also had some games where it looked like they took a step down further than where they were with Greg Berhalter. And so, again, I don't want this to be a distraction. I'm already upset that news is out there. And I just think it's disrespectful as, why you're already, you should be focused on the World Cup, right? Why are you doing these job interviews with AC Milan and what have you and other clubs? We need your full focus here as Americans to make this a big-time World Cup for us. Now, you asked me this World Cup for the U.S. men's national team. Listen, again, I've often said that this is the best roster that the Americans have ever had, talent-wise. But when we talk about guys like Alexi Lawless, Kobe Jones, Taylor Twellman, Landon Donovan, Clint Dempsey, Josie Altador, Tim Howard, I can go on. Those guys, look, they weren't the most talented of like where they're playing in sort of clubs. I mean, you see where our players are playing today in sort of clubs. It's remarkable. You would never figured an American would be playing there. It shows the progression of the game in the United States, but do they have that mental toughness? Do they have that dog in them? That has been a question. And for me, games that I have seen them play, I feel like they lack that. I feel like they feel entitled. They don't play with that chip on that shoulder of like, listen, we might play in the MLS or whatnot, but we're going to bring you the fight. I look at the 2014 team under Jurgen Klinsmann, even though I didn't agree with Klinsmann's decision to not take Donovan to his last ever career FIFA World Cup. But that team was in a group with Germany, Portugal, and Ghana. And that is a team that I said at the very beginning, and they proved me wrong. I said at the very beginning, there's no way the U.S. makes it out of that group. And they did. They got it out. Yeah, sure, they lost in the round of 16 to Belgium. But they gave Belgium a fight. Tim Howard had a career performance of his life. But they fought. They were scrappy. And, that's what you can ask for as an American. That's what you want from your team. And I think that's what we want from this national team, this roster of 26 guys, beginning the World Cup in 2 weeks. And so when you ask about expectation, look, I think a lot of people are tired of getting stuck on the round of 16. I think this World Cup may be tougher just because of the fact that it's an expanded World Cup. So now coming out of the group, you got to play a round of 32, round of 16, quarterfinal, semifinal, final. I see a lot of people out there saying that the U.S. needs to make this a successful World Cup. The goal is to make it quarterfinals. If this was a regular World Cup, not expanded, yes, I would agree with that. But since it is an expanded World Cup, I mean, yeah, you might get a favorable matchup in the round of 32. But we all know in the FIFA World Cup, as you go further in the rounds, the more difficult it becomes. And so I could see them getting past the round of 32, and I could see them falling in the round of 16 once again. Obviously, I agree. If they do make it to the quarterfinals, for me, it would be a successful World Cup for the U.S. Obviously, they have 2 tough games as a send-off. One sold out already in Chicago against Germany, and then one against Senegal, which is going to be a great team in this World Cup. I'm excited for that Senegal-France matchup. So we're going to see. Those 2 games are really going to test where this team is at. They're already in training camp at the brand new Arthur M. Blank training facility in Atlanta, Georgia. And, yeah, I would say quarterfinals. I'm okay with it. Quarterfinals, I think it will be difficult. But I agree, if they get to quarterfinals, it's a successful World Cup for the U.S. men's national team on home soil. So moving into our second item on pressing matters. Qualified Champions League teams so far for next year. As I pull it up here, teams that qualified for the Champions League 2026-2027. I'll tell you right now. So, obviously, out of England, we're going to have Arsenal, who are playing in the final against PSG on Saturday. Manchester City, who will have, for the first time, a brand new manager after so many years of Pep Guardiola. We'll have Manchester United back in the mix in European football. We'll have Aston Villa and Liverpool. And then out of Germany, Bayern Munich, who I really thought was going to make the final this year. Borussia Dortmund, Red Bull Leipzig, and Stuttgart. Out of Spain, Football Club Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico de Madrid, Villarreal, and Real Betis. Out of Italy, Inter Milan, Napoli, AS Roma back in the mix. And this is unbelievable. Playing in the Champions League, and they have a beautiful stadium that I really hope can see Champions League football. And just the background is just amazing. You guys got to look it up. But Como, led by Cesc Fabregas, the Spanish international, they will be in the Champions League. Out of Portugal, FC Porto. Netherlands, we've got PSV Eindhoven and Feyenoord. Turkey, Galatasaray, who had a good run in this year's Champions League, will be making it back. Out of Czech Republic, Slavia Prague, and making their way back into the Champions League. Out of Ukraine, Shakhtar Donetsk. Real Madrid did play them a couple times throughout the years in the Champions League. But those are the teams that we have so far for the Champions League. And what I'm most excited about, as I just said, was Como out of Serie A being in the Champions League. So I'll have an update for you once the updated teams fully complete of who's going to be competing for that European title next season. We move on to our next item on the agenda of Pressing Matters, and it is this past weekend's Inter Miami hosting Philadelphia Union on Sunday Night Soccer at New Stadium. And this was the final game before the World Cup in the MLS. Oh my Lord, guys. This game was absolutely insane. If you do not see it, you got to go see the highlights. I mean, this game had everything. Goals galore. We had a referee's shoe pretty much blow up, and he had to change shoes. We had a torrential downpour of rain fall over New Stadium. It had everything. It had everything. But listen, Philadelphia Union coming into this game, bottom of the Eastern Conference. I thought this was going to be a blowout from Inter Miami, but Philadelphia Union brought it. They brought the competition, and again, it goes back to what I have been saying for years. The defense for Inter Miami is so dog water. So bad how Philadelphia Union could put this amount of goals on them is ridiculous. And obviously, again, they face a team that they're bad. They're a bad team, and which is sad to say because I really do respect the Philadelphia Union organization. They've done such a great job over the years, even have made an MLS Cup final. Unfortunately, they fell to LAFC, but they've really fallen off hard here. And they just fired their coach yesterday. But, man, how do you let the Philadelphia Union run the table on you with goals? Dane St. Clair, if I'm Jesse Marsh in Canada, you're screwed, buddy. You're screwed when it comes to the World Cup, because if Dane St. Clair enters this World Cup for Canada playing the same way he's playing for Inter Miami, and obviously Taylor Twellman sits up there every single Inter Miami match and has to remind us, guys, Dane St. Clair, reigning MLS goalkeeper of the year. Well, he's certainly not playing like it, folks. It's been absolutely abysmal playing from Dane St. Clair. It's like he doesn't know when to come out of his line. He doesn't know when to stay in his line. You know, he's deflecting balls that should be caught and then just easy tapping goals. It's been disastrous for Dane St. Clair. I'd rather have Drake Callender. I'd rather have Ustari in goal. I'd rather have Rocco Rios Novo in goal. It's been disastrous for St. Clair. But again, that defense, yes, has it made a difference since they sat down Peluca Falcon? Absolutely. It's been better without him, but still, the defense is not good. They pick up a whole lot of yellow cards. Hopefully, the arrival of Casemiro as a defensive midfielder would kind of help this. They need it because, again, Rodrigo De Paul, who's going to go to the World Cup with Argentina because of his name, pretty much. I mean, yeah, he's gotten some goals, but he's been less than convincing. He's been having terrible performances. He's been giving the ball away so much. It's not good. And the question is, which, by the way, Messi comes out of this game asking for a sub, which now has been deemed to be in his hamstring. Scaloni is going to name the Argentine national team roster for the World Cup tomorrow. I expect that Messi will be on there. A lot of worry about that from Argentina fans of how fit is Messi. We'll never know because Inter Miami doesn't really give transparency on injuries. They keep you guessing, so the world may never know. But yeah, it's a concern. And obviously, there's been talk since the very beginning of, is Messi going to play this World Cup? He says he's going to make his decision depend on his fitness as we grow closer. I think he will be there to defend the title, and I think this will be it. The curtain will close for Messi playing in the World Cup, the 6th World Cup. Same for Cristiano Ronaldo. But it is some alarm to see Messi ask for the sub. And we'll really see tomorrow when the roster comes out. We'll see as training camp starts how fit he really is for Argentina. And I mean, look, their group is cake, right? It's a cakewalk. We'll see how he does it. They might even sit him. We'll see. But the question for Inter Miami, they're sitting second behind Nashville in the Eastern Conference after the win over Philadelphia. The question is, are they going to make a change at coach during this World Cup break? Or is it really going to be Guillermo Hoyos no longer being an interim, but being the head coach, and we're going to keep him in that position? I think he's better. He's doing better than Javier Mascherano. I'll tell you that just by stats. But that will be the question coming out of this break. Will it still be Guillermo Hoyos in charge for Inter Miami? We're going to go to our second to last item here on the agenda for pressing matters, and it's Harry Kane. We have to shout out Harry Kane. Harry Kane has had a phenomenal season. He has won the European Golden Boot, and this is good news for England. England going into the World Cup. I know that they fail a lot, and they choke a lot, but I think England's been knocking on the door. I think that they have a good roster. And with Harry Kane leading the way with the way that he played for Bayern this season, he's coming into form in this World Cup. And again, another historic season. I think that he took his game to the next level when he left Tottenham and joined Bayern. I think he needed that. He took his game to the next level. Obviously, with Tottenham not playing in the highest levels that he could play, and now he is with Bayern. And that's fantastic news for Harry Kane, and it's been an historic season for the Englishman. And I really think he's going to be a dominant factor for England at this World Cup. So congratulations to Harry Kane. And I think he should be up there in conversation for the Ballon d'Or, which, by the way, it was announced this morning, will be taking place in London this year. So I really think that he should be in the conversation. Final topic before we go into Team of the Week. Spain has announced their World Cup squad. I'll tell you guys right now. Goalkeepers, Unai Simon, David Raya, and Joan Garcia. Then we go into the defense. Eric Garcia, Aymeric Laporte, Alejandro Grimaldo, Marco Correa, Pedro Porro, Marc Ruil, and Pau Cualci. In the midfield, Marcos Llorente, Mikel Merino, Fabian Ruiz, Dani Olmo, Rodri, Pedri, Martin Zubimendi, Gianni Pino, Alex Baena, and Gavi. And then in the forward positions, Borja Iglesias, Mikel Oyarzabal, Ferran Torres, Nico Williams, Lamine Yamal, and Victor Munoz. The big news out of this is that there was no players from Real Madrid, and honestly, they weren't going to take Carvajal. They talked about Alvaro Carreras being better than Cualci. Carreras had a tough season, getting adjusted to life at Real Madrid after being at Benfica. The only player really that they could have taken was Dean Housen. And yeah, Dean Housen was rated in Team of the Year for La Liga. So I think I would have taken Dean Housen. I think that he could, even if he comes off the bench, I think that he could have been a good option. But really, that is the news. But the big news as well is Lamine Yamal will probably sit the first 2 games against Cabo Verde and Saudi Arabia. and he'll be coming back for that Uruguay game. The question mark will be there. The defense is good. The midfield is solid. It will be the forwards. Without Lamine Yamal on the field those first 2 games, we'll be able to see who's going to step up and be the goal scorer for Spain. Again, this is not a team that's flashy and has superstars. This is a team, they win because they play well together as a unit. So that's the question for Luis de la Fuente's men is who will score the goals with Lamine Yamal out for the first 2 games? And it'll be interesting to watch. I definitely think they're putting 13 goals past Cabo Verde, though, so I don't think that'll be fair. I think the Saudi Arabia game will be a little bit tougher, and it'll be good to see there the test. But anyways, it is time to get into our team of the week. Your team of the week, and it's official, and we're doing them again. It is Arsenal. North London forever. The Gunners. They're English Premier League champions for, I believe, the first time in 10 plus years. It's been a long time, since that 20 years probably, since they won the English Premier League. And they have the chance to be the best team in all of football in the world. If they can win the Champions League, if they can win the double, it will be huge for Arsenal. They have that 1 game left. The job's not finished for the Gunners. They're taking on the defending European champions, the defending best team in the world, even though, yeah, that title belongs to Chelsea. We all know it's not. It's PSG and Luis Enrique's men taking on Desiré Doué, Ousmane Dembélé. If Arsenal can pull this off and become Champions League winners for the first time in club history, they will definitely be not only Europe's best, but the world's best. So congratulations to Arsenal again. Good luck on Saturdays, Gunner fans. And that is why Arsenal is your team of the week. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the conclusion of episode 30 of Pressing Matters. Again, I appreciate you guys so much for reaching this milestone of episode 30. More Pressing Matters episodes to come, especially with the World Cup coming up. And we're going to have some good coverage. I'll be in Atlanta for South Africa and Czech Republic, right here in Miami for Brazil versus Scotland. Now, interesting with the news of Neymar getting injured today. We'll see if he'll be in that game against Scotland here at Hard Rock Stadium, or should I say Miami Stadium. But again, I appreciate all of you guys just for all of our shows at the Plug Talk Sports Network. We appreciate it very, very deeply. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, a great weekend. Stay dry. It's raining a lot in South Florida. And we'll see you guys next week for a brand new Pressing Matters episode.